My next guest is the founder and CEO of Kahani Digital. She has built an agency that supports South Asian brands and entrepreneurs. Please welcome Hani Anis. Welcome to the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Patricia Bourgeois, certified business coach. I am here to help you up level, generate consistent wealth, increase your confidence, attract dream clients, and master your mindset so that you can fully own your power and achieve next level results in your online business and beyond. Every week, a powerful conversation will take place with amazing guests, or I'll share from my experience to help inspire you to start and scale the business of your dreams while being powerfully you. The time has come to stop playing small, stop hiding, and stop waiting. Now is the perfect time for you to passionately pursue your heart's desire as the powerful leader you were born to be. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Female Leaders Podcast. I am here today with Hani. Hey.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to chat and get to know you better. So, yeah, feel free to share with us who you are, what you do, and what got you here.
Of course. I'm Hani. I am from the Baltimore, DC area, and I have two businesses. I am in luxury South Asian bridal fashion, and my company is called Anis Collections. And I also have a digital marketing and PR agency for South Asian owned or founded brands called Kahani Digital, for which I'm the CEO of as well.
Wow, that's incredible. So, how do you do it all? How do you juggle so many different projects and yeah, like you're a superwoman.
You know, some days it feels like it, some days it doesn't. It's definitely a lot of work. It's a lot of hours in the day, but I think what keeps me going is I've never found as much fulfillment and as I do now. I've worked so many like corporate jobs, internships, and I look forward to genuinely doing what I do every day. Whether it's easy or it's hard, it's just that passion that like really helps me wake up and tackle every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about your digital marketing agency because I've used to run one and I know how much work it goes into it. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm curious to know like how you got started and why are you specifically targeting South Asian demographics? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I like to put this in a way where I mean, like, I fell into it is how I usually like to put it, and that's
Mm-hmm.
truly what it is because the pandemic hit as I was kind of in a career transition phase.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic caused my bridal company to shut down basically for months at a time, so I had more time on my hands because, weddings weren't happening. That was really not like, the wedding business was a bad industry to be in at that time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so everything was shut down there, and then I had quit my corporate job in 2019, aiming to just kind of take a break for my health, mental health, just all of that. And I wanted to go back into the corporate world in 2020. And again, pandemic hit. So I was in this weird in between transition and I started looking for jobs that were outside of kind of what I traditionally did, which I studied finance. And so that's what I was doing in the corporate world. And marketing was a natural fit because I was doing it already for my brand. And the role that I found was at a VC firm, and it was a hybrid of, looking at the deals and kind of being able to market them, talk about them to the investors, write emails, all of that corporate marketing stuff. So
Mm.
that's how I got into the marketing world. And at the same time, I got a position part time with Natalie Barbu, who's an influencer that started her own agency for small businesses. So at the same time, I was dealing with corporate marketing for a very large firm in finance, as well as small business focused agency style marketing. And I found that I liked the agency style more. And as I got more into that, a couple brands from my own network in the South Asian space would reach out to me and be like, "Can you
Mm.
help us? Can you freelance for us?" So essentially, when September of 2020 came around, I was juggling 4 jobs because I had my corporate job, I was working with this
Wow.
agency, I was freelancing, and then my bridal business started back up.
Mm.
And yeah, and basically over like my winter break or so, I looked at all of that and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. This is way too much. And I found
Mm.
that the corporate part had to go because I
Yeah.
just did not enjoy corporate marketing as much as small business. So
Mm.
that's how I organically just, I mean, I went in January 4th, I quit my job and thought, hey, I'm going to freelance. And once my
Yeah.
1 month was up at my corporate, my like existing clients were like, oh, you're doing this full time. Okay, let's send you more people. And I
Yeah.
had no branding, I had no name of a company, it was just me, and I instantly grew, like, double basically
Wow.
overnight. Yeah, and then I had to be like, "Okay, now I need to do all of the legwork that you normally do when you start a company with, like, the branding and a website, all of that." I had to do it
Mhm.
later on because I found a need for it. It was very unintentional.
Wow, this is incredible. I love, love, love this. So, what would you say to someone who is currently transitioning right now between positions? Like, how do you keep your confidence and positive attitude with so much uncertainty going on?
Um So with me, I think I have looked to kind of and I'm a super type A person, so uncertainty
Yeah.
causes me a lot of stress. And I've learned to control what I can control. So if
Mhm.
uh, whenever I'm either looking for new clients or looking for hiring people or things like that, like where there is a bit of uncertainty, I try to find what I can control in that situation. When you're looking for a new job, you can
Mhm.
control like what you apply to and how you market your skills. So, obviously everyone goes into job hunting having like their dream position, right? But
Mhm.
I mean, I know this from like 3 years ago before the pandemic. The job market's so tough and it's
Mhm.
hard to like find your dream position. So I think I would go in kind of diversifying myself to different industries and making sure I'm like really looking at all my strengths because I think that's what I didn't do when I was
Mm.
hunting for a job was that I thought I was boxing myself into one thing and you really learn that that's not the way you should do it because it closes you off from opportunity instead of opens the doors for you.
Yeah, interesting. And what about transitioning from a job to starting your own business and growing that business? Like, what would you say was the biggest challenge you had to overcome, mindset wise?
Mindset wise, I think it was the fact that like my life looked so different from my friends who were working corporate. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have the same pockets of free time. And even now, my job requires a lot of travel. So it's hard because my friends will want to, either go to the normal happy hours after 5 or
Yeah.
hang out on the weekends. And sometimes I'm at events on weekends or I'm traveling. And that, like, initially when I started, it was really hard because it was
Mhm.
hard to balance my personal life and my work life. And I do believe in the beginning when you start a business, that portion really like gets to you, especially if you're
Mm.
young. Um, and it's hard to find the balance, but I think you can't beat yourself up about it because there's some days where you have to work and then there's some days where you have to not work and you have to learn
Mhm.
to give yourself a little bit of grace and not feel too guilty about either like
Mm.
option. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about feeling guilty. I feel like we all go through there and like we feel like we gotta be on all the time. We gotta get to the next idea, get the next client, get to the next
Yeah.
milestone. So how do you actually really start to get back in your body and cultivate that trust and just calming down and doing something that feels good?
I was truly the worst at this, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Especially when I was in that 4 job phase, I literally had no balance, and, like, I look back at that and I'm like, "Oh my god, what were you doing?"
Yeah.
Um, because you get caught up in the grind, and it wasn't until, like, I hired my first employee that I felt like I could actually
Mm.
let go, because it was like someone else was taking responsibility. But what
Mhm.
got me was that when I did hire my first employee, I, like, was fighting harder for her to have a work-life balance than I was for myself, and I looked at that and I was
Mm.
like, "Wait a second. If she can get work-life balance, you should also be able to." And that's when, like, the structure of my company changed to, like, me also being able to take weekends off, and, like, I
Mm.
started very slow because again, the guilt can get to you, so I
Mhm.
started with taking, like, Saturdays completely off and not touching my computer. Then it, like, very quickly, I was like, "Oh, this is nice. Okay, I can take Sunday off too." And, like, now it's to the point where, like, I have a team, so right now it's the summer, so, like, summer Fridays, holidays, birthdays, like, we take days off and, like, don't feel bad about it. Going on vacation, take the day off, like,
Mhm.
things like that, because I think it's easy to structure your day in the way where you can say, like, "I have deadlines to hit, I'm gonna hit those deadlines, and then I'm gonna enjoy
Mhm.
myself." Some days, like, even a 9 to 5, I when I worked my corporate job, like, there were days where we had work to do and I would work overtime, but
Mm.
there were other days where, like, I would finish my work by 11 and then I had the entire day. So,
Mhm.
I think the work from home culture has really allowed us to, like, be able to try to fit more into our lives that we were
Mhm.
missing out on when it was, like, the normal 9 to 5 hustle before
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing all of this. This is really, really good. And I'm curious to know, like, what was the biggest, best piece of advice you've ever gotten in your entrepreneurial journey?
I think one of the pieces that I've gotten has been around patience. I am
Mhm.
in my, like, general personal life, I am not the most patient person in the world, but honestly, starting a business will teach you patience like nothing else.
Mhm.
I think I've, like, learned to kind of relish the moment of, success, milestones, and then work hard but not get discouraged, when
Mm.
you don't immediately achieve the next milestone, because you're so surrounded, especially working in social media. I'm sure, like, you see this
Mhm.
all the time too.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome is so real because you always see people, posting about their milestones,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to get caught up in that, but you really learn how to be patient and then celebrate your milestones as you start a business, and grow
Yeah.
a business too.
I love that. Yeah. It's really like cultivating that awareness of
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm celebrating with them, but I'm also on my own journey and I'm also growing at my own pace, and that's okay too. So, yeah,
yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, I ask this to everyone who comes on the show, and I'm very curious to know your answer. What does being a powerful leader mean to
Ooh, that's a great question, by the way, and I
you?
feel like you might get so many different responses from that
Yeah.
one. Being a powerful leader to me, um, really means being the best I can be for my employees. I think having
Mhm.
employees is such a huge responsibility, and
Mm.
it propels you to be better every single day, especially if you've, like, come from different jobs. And I'm sure we've all been there where we've seen an example of, like, how to not be a boss.
Yeah.
Um, and so knowing that, looking at my own experiences and just, like, looking at the needs of my employees has definitely changed the game for me, especially having an all remote team. It's so hard to cultivate culture and make sure
Mm.
everyone feels heard, and I honestly, that is one thing that I really prioritize is touching base with everyone, making sure I'm a very involved CEO and not just, like, there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what helps me be a powerful leader.
I love that. Yeah, like it's so true. It's like really challenging to keep that culture alive when
Mhm.
everyone is like remote.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes total sense. And I'm pretty sure your team is so happy to have you as a leader. That's for sure.
I hope so, and I love every single person on my team, and I'm so happy to have them. So I always like every single day when I'm like looking at my to-dos and then I put to-dos on that like other people on my team handle, and it's so refreshing to like check them off and be like, yeah, this person's got it. They're amazing. And like so on and so forth. The little things.
Yeah, totally. I love it. So, I want you to brag a little and share with us, like, what was one of the biggest accomplishment that you've ever had in business? Like, if you want to share a client testimonial or something really cool that happened for you.
Yeah, one thing I would say that recently happened to us was that I was able to bring on my first 2, like, W-2 employees, which, like,
Mhm.
that's such a stressful thing to say because, you work 1099, you work contractors all the time, but W-2, you're, like, responsible for benefits and paying taxes, and as a small
Mm.
business, you really never know when you're gonna get there, and so I'm really excited that I'm able to bring on my first 2 this summer.
Mhm. That's amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
Incredible. I'm so happy for you. This is awesome.
Thank you. It's nerve-wracking, but so exciting.
Yeah, I can imagine for sure. So do you have any last piece of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Wow, I'm trying to think of I think it's definitely to, as I talked about earlier, savor the
Mhm.
moment, and, like,
Mhm.
learn to kind of be present because there's so many milestones that I feel like I've constantly been thinking about the next one, that I don't feel like I fully was able
Mm.
to enjoy it, and now the more I think back, the more I'm like, "Wow, man, like, I wish I kind of stayed in a moment longer. So,
Mhm.
um, like whether that's for my fashion business, whether that was my first bride or with my agency, whether that was like launching the website, it's like life moves so fast and we have to learn to kind of take a pause and give yourself a pat on the back. And I'm
Mhm.
still learning how to do that. So I feel like it's a great tip to kind of make everyone aware of.
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress for most of us.
Yeah. And it's because we're living such a fast-paced life that we kind of
Yeah.
forget. It's like second nature to just be like, "Oh, yeah, that happened. Okay, moving on."
Yeah, that's so true. Like minimizing our achievements. Yeah, totally, totally. And I think it's also about like following our intuition and our gut and doing what's best for us in the moment as well. Um,
Yeah, like, if you feel like, I never would have done this in the past, but now I'm pretty good about this just for even for, like, mental health purposes and just to make yourself
ah.
feel good, like, if you had a big client win, like, go and buy yourself a coffee, go and, like, do something nice for yourself or, like, you don't have to celebrate big milestones in a big way. I think, like, again,
Mhm.
social media makes us think that, oh, you should throw like a huge party or like something like
Mhm.
that. But you can do those like little things to at least make yourself feel good about something
Mhm.
that happened.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I love this conversation.
Thank you.
This is awesome. So, where can people go to connect with you further online if they want to reach out to you, get to know you, work with you? Like, where can they go?
Yeah, for us, you can find my agency at kahanidigital.com. It's KAHANI digital.com. And from there, you can find us on Instagram. Feel free to DM us or if you have any questions on social media, PR, anything, even like starting a business. I love talking to people and like
Mhm.
learning about what their passion is, what their idea is, and
Mhm.
helping them navigate that. So feel free to reach out.
Yeah, awesome. Go reach out to Hani. She's awesome. You won't regret it. Thank you so much again for coming on the show today. I really appreciate your time and for you to be here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love talking to you. This was amazing.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Powerful Female Leaders podcast. If you love this episode, make sure to spread the message, leave a review, and subscribe. I would forever be grateful for you. I also want to hear from you, and I want to know your feedback and your questions for future episodes. So don't be shy, say hi, and send me a message at Powerful Female Leaders Podcast on Instagram. Until then, I'll see you on the next episode.